This week on Jon Thelen's Destination Fish, we start on Lake Winnibigoshish in northern Minnesota, chasing late spring walleyes. Pitching and dragging jigs is a deadly tactic at this time of the year, and today we break down the technique. Jon Thelen's Destination Fish is brought to you by Lindy Fishing Tackle and Yamaha Outboards.
John, I think I might just got bit.
There's a lot of fish right here. I mean, there's no... There he is. Look at that.
Oh, he's swimming at the boat.
It's a good way to start. We'll take that.
Swam right towards the boat here.
Looks like a good fish, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice... I think it's going to be a keeper. I don't think it's a slot.
Perfect.
There you go.
Lake Winnibigosh special. Look at that.
On that blue.
Awesome.
On that blue jig, John. Look at that.
What a great fish to start.
That didn't take long. That didn't take long at all.
That's a perfect start right there. I'm fishing with Reed Ilatalo, and what we're going to do today is we're going to chase late spring, early summer walleyes on Lake Winnibigoshish in north central Minnesota. And man, I'll tell you what, this right now is a walleye factory.
Absolutely.
It is just loaded with fish. Reed guides up here, and he spends a lot of time on the water up here. I live in the area too. And this is one of my favorites because you can come here and you can catch such a variety of fish. Big fish, eater-sized fish. There's a perch fishery here that's phenomenal in the winter, but let me tell you, the walleye fishing at this time of the year with jigs is just phenomenal. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to show you exactly how to do it when you come here, because there's a couple tips and tricks, and there's some stuff I've learned from Reed over the years about how to catch more fish when you're here. And that's what we're going to talk about. So stay right where you're at. That's a great start. There he is right there.
Got a bite?
Yep.
That looks like a decent one, John.
You know what? This one absolutely nailed it hard once. And that first time it hit, I was actually caught a little bit by surprise, so I just kind of waited. And sometimes, oh yeah, good walleye,
oh,
big
there it
fish.
Is.
Big fish.
I got him.
Look at that.
I got him.
Oh, look at that one.
Boat.
Look at that big girl.
On another blue jig.
I'll tell you what, that is a good color. No matter where you go. I've always said I love blue glow, and so many of these fisheries that you fish throughout the Midwest have shiner populations in them. They have, you know, different silver-sided minnows, even ciscos. But here's the deal, that blue and white blue glow, what it does is it emulates a lot of those silver-sided minnows. That's the color hue a lot of them give off. You can look at a silver-sided minnow in the water,
right? And
a lot of times it'll give off that blue color hue.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that.
That is a
get
nice
this one
fish.
back in. And then here's what we're gonna do. Ooh, look at that. Let's talk a bit about the jig we are using though. This is the all-new Lindy B-Max jig, and here's what B-Max stands for: Bismuth Maximum Performance. This is a lead-free jig. It's made from a combination of bismuth and then some other different materials. But what's great about it is in the past, so many of these lead-free style jigs, you had to make them super big to get the same weight. But because of the mixture Lindy came up with the bismuth and the other materials, that 1/4 ounce jig is the same as any 1/4 ounce lead jig you've ever fished. Yep. Number two, you can see it way better on your live sonar units, okay? So ultimately, it does all the things that we ask of tungsten, and yet it's doing it at a fraction of the cost in a material that is lead-free. Last thing I'm gonna tell you, and it's a great example right there, that big fish was hooked right through the snout. That's a big, stout, strong hook. You don't lose fish on these hooks, and they don't bend. Give you a little bit of an idea of how we're doing this today. More or less, we're just lining up on this spot and we're working our way upwind, okay? And all I'm doing is I'm watching with the Mega Live as we go. Now I'm running the mapping system on the Humminbird up here. That's a Lake Master map. And then we're also running our 2D sonar. So I'm seeing everything going on in real time right under the boat. But I'm watching at about a 45-degree angle with the Mega Live. And every time we see fish out there, we spot lock. You just hit the brakes with the Minn Kota, you park the boat, and here's what happens. You get some when you're just dragging along, because we're dragging that jig and hopping it when we're moving. But when we spot lock and pitch to those fish, that's when we're really effective because we know those fish are there. Jon Thelen's Destination Fish is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Oh, God dang.
Got him?
Yeah.
Got him?
I do.
What do you got?
Good walleye.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Good eater fish. Not a giant, but
No, not like
Super
that last one.
look at that. That right there. It's a perfect eater, though. I'll tell you what. This is what people keep and eat all day long up here on Lake Winnibigoshish. You know, one of the things I'll tell you that I think is interesting too is, now that fish there was more on the drag. I was moving the boat a little bit, but one of the things I do, I fish a lot less aggressive. One of the things I noticed about Reed right away, he's fishing far more aggressive than I am. And you know what? There's a time and place for everything. This fish here, he just needed it a little bit softer, a little bit more just pull. But you're really ripping it there.
I am, yeah. And you know, whether I'm pitching or even dragging, John, I pitch my jig out there, and I want to catch the first aggressive fish out of that school, right?
Yep.
So, and every day is different. You just mentioned how that one bit, you know, that kind of just hung on there.
Yep.
So with my clientele, this is kind of how I first start out, is, you know, cast it out there, get it a long ways away from the boat, and you know, sometimes you get the clients that are just dragging through it, like you mentioned, and they might outfish me. So then what do I got to do? I got to read and react, and I got to do, you know, maybe I should go back to a little pull and like you.
And you know what? I would share that with you. Day in and day out, one of the things that I know Reed does, I do it, is I'm constantly, if I see a fish, I cast to him twice, and I don't get him to bite, the next time, I'm gonna do something totally different. Because otherwise you do the same thing all day long and you'll be that one guy in the boat that doesn't catch as many fish as the other guys. Fish are constantly changing what their preference is. Today we are catching the majority of our fish in 17 to 18 feet of water on the top edge of the second break. It's an overcast late May day with light winds, making 1/4 ounce B-Max Lindy jigs the perfect choice for dragging and pitching in today's calm waters. Blue Glow and Lime Hot Yellow are the top producing colors, tipped with a fathead minnow. The key to success today is dragging our jigs until contacting fish, and then spot locking with the Minn Kota and pitching back to the school.
There he is. Just bit it on the drop. Got him? Nope, I think I missed him.
Oh no.
Oh no, there he is.
He came straight at you again. It's funny how they'll do that. Come over here. It's funny how these fish will do that. Look at that. Oh, that's
Goldie.
Look at that one. That's a pretty
Goldie.
one. Look at that. Holy moly, is he pretty. That's something you know, some of these clear bodies of water, man, I'll tell you, they have some of the prettiest walleyes. That's awesome. That school of fish was sitting right out here. We saw him on the Mega Live and just fired at him. And we both fired out there, and Reed wins on that one. You know, so often we want to think fish start on a shoreline, and then they get done spawning and they swim straight out to mid-lake stuff. And that's not the case, is it?
You know what? No, it's not. We were in a little bit shallower earlier today. Not much activity, kind of slow actually. So we came out to the first break line, and there was kind of a break line and then a basin, and then it drops off into some deep water. We ended up finding these fish from anywhere between 18 and 21 feet of water. Yep. John mentioned we're using the Humminbird electronics to A, get us on the fish, B, find the fish, and C, catch the fish, right?
Yeah.
So any mid-lake structure out here in Lake Winnie, first break line, second break line, they're all holding fish at some point.
And you know, I would add this, you know, and you've heard me say it for years. I've been with Humminbird for years. The best mapping made. And what's so special about that is you can know the areas that are gonna hold fish with everything Reed just said, and then you can simply drive to it and then use the electronics to find those fish. You're definitely gonna wanna have that tool when you come to Lake Winnibigoshish, because it's gonna help you find fish, because there is a lot of structure out here.
Ooh, there he is.
It's on the drag. That's a great example of what we were talking about earlier, about just looking for fish, dragging and bouncing these jigs until we find the school and then sit and pitch on them. Because this one right here, that's on the drag.
That was on the drag, yeah. And you know what? It was just just solid weight. Doesn't feel like a very big
Oh,
fish.
it's a nice
but-
swallow. He's fine. We'll take
Yeah,
him.
yeah, absolutely.
He'll go home with us today. That's awesome.
You know, John, that was kind of a weird bite. I was just dragging it along and, you know, just twitching it as normal.
Yeah.
And it just, my rod tip just bloop, just loaded up, and it didn't, there was no tick. It felt like weeds. I gave him just a little bit, and he just wagged his tail one time, and I said, that's a fish.
That's it. That's it.
That's not weeds.
Tell you what, we're gonna chuck this one in the live well and we're gonna call it a day, but Lake Winnibigoshish, this place is a lot of fun. Reed Guide's up here. If you're looking for somebody to go fishing with, he can take you and he can make sure you get on a lot of fish. You know what, big fish, small fish alike, make sure you pick up some of these B-Max jigs. That's what he's gonna tell you to have with you. Late spring, early summer, man, I'll tell you what, these fish are just chomping. Jon Thelen's Destination Fish has been brought to you by these great sponsors.